The nice girl is someone who everyone turns to whenever they have a problem, always has a smile on her face, and is pleasant to be around. She will take on extra work, responsibilities, and even take the blame without questioning because she takes care of other people's needs and happiness before her own. She is caring, loving, and always forgiving. Although these sound like admirable traits on the surface, many times it's at the expense of her own energy, time, boundaries, and happiness. It's a role that's been crafted by societal pressures and often leads to living a life for others without ever being able to expose her own pain, vulnerability, and imperfection. Not only is upholding this image for others exhausting, but it's not realistic and often gets in the way of discovering her own unique identity. I know because I played the role of a nice girl. I'm here at my sister's house today, and anytime I come back to visit my family, I'm just always reminded of how different my sister and I were growing up. I was more of the nice one in the family, and my sister was more headstrong and very vocal about what she wanted. And this, of course, led to more disputes, and I think she got into more trouble with my parents. But I think it's so cool that she always found the courage to go after the things that she wanted. And in contrast to that, I definitely kept things to myself, and I was more the people pleaser. And this wasn't just from my parents, but with my friends and my past relationships, and later in life in my professional life as well. Somewhere along the road, I definitely adopted this nice girl role because I thought the validation from other people somehow added more to my self-worth. I think it's safe to say that most of us feel the pressure to look, act, and be a certain way because we live in a society. And we have the pressures from our families, bosses, coworkers even, and just people around us. And sometimes it can feel like we're getting tugged in a million different directions. And as a nice girl, I definitely tried my best to please everyone around me. But not only is this not sustainable, but it's quite impossible. And I think somewhere along the road, I realized that the recognition and the appreciation that I was gaining was just not worth what I was giving up, which was my peace of mind and being able to live life on my own pace. I do think that we need more niceness in the world today, and most of us are privileged enough to be able to spare our time, our money, our energy, and our resources with others. At the same time, I think it's important to ask the right questions. Am I being sincere, or am I just doing it for recognition or validation? And by saying yes, is it getting in the way of living a life that feels true to me? I noticed that playing this nice girl role definitely has a limited shelf life, but what I want to work towards instead is being genuinely kind while still respecting myself. And I think that it is very possible to do that. And I think one of the most important ways is to set clear boundaries. At work, it might be turning down or delegating your workload, making yourself available only between certain hours, or leaving work at work when you come home. When I became an independent contractor for my company, I had to give out my personal number, and clients would call me at any time of the day, and I was getting overwhelmed and really burnt out. Even though I want to point the fingers and blame them, I never set the boundaries, and I was never clear about when you can reach me and when I'm off limits. And of course, how would they know if they crossed the line? And this became an obvious pattern in my personal life as well. And I don't want to get too much into detail, but I've definitely been hurt, manipulated, because I didn't set those clear boundaries and I didn't communicate it effectively. Setting boundaries is so crucial for our mental and emotional well-being, and it's also beneficial for others too. Because when things are crystal clear, it really takes away the confusion and it takes away the guessing game. And I think this is actually being nice. Secondly, I think it's so important to listen to our intuitions. There are so many different advice out there on how to do anything and everything. For example, some people will say, do what you love and you won't work a day in your life. And others will say, don't mix work with what you love because then you'll fall out of love with it. The point is, there's truly no right or wrong answer. There's no right or wrong way to do anything. And I feel like the moral compass is something that we all have to individually cultivate with time. I think I always take other people's stories and circumstances and opinions into consideration, especially people that I really respect, like my parents. But I've also realized that nobody really has it figured out. Nobody knows what they're doing. Whether it's your mentor, your parents, or someone that you really look up to and respect, it is important to take what they say and run it by your own moral compass and your intuition. I've always been quite intuitive, and I feel like in any given situation, I know what the right thing to do is and what's not right. But I never gave myself the permission to fully just go with it and trust in the process. And that's something that I really want to honor moving forward. Because if we don't, we could spend a whole lifetime just going by what others expect of us. And I think that it would be such a shame and such a wasted opportunity, because we would be missing a chance to unveil what could be such a beautiful story. I think it's so important to know our own self-worth. And I've talked a little bit about this, but I definitely had self-esteem issues growing up, and I feel like I'm still battling with this as things change in my life. But in our society, so much of our worth is tied with our looks, our productivity, or what we do, and what we can give back to society. But really, in hindsight, all of those people who valued me based on these superficial metrics never really played a big role in my life. And now I'm thinking why I put so much emphasis on caring about their opinions over my own. If I had to define what self-worth means to me now, I think I would say that it's a sense of belonging. It's giving myself permission to take up space in the world and giving myself the same love and respect as I do to everyone else around me, knowing that I deserve it. And when I really began to value my self-worth in this way, I noticed that I was attracting other people that saw me in the same way. And it's so true that we kind of teach people how we want to be treated by the way that we treat ourselves. I don't think playing this nice girl role is something that we just grow out of. At least for me, it definitely was an intentional decision. And it doesn't mean that I'm all of a sudden going to be really guarded and selfish and careless, because I don't think that's who I am to my core. But I think it's only fair that I give myself the same love and respect as I do to everyone else around me, take my opinions into consideration, and express what I feel when I feel, and live a life that feels true to me. I don't get a chance to say this in all of my videos, but I just want to take the opportunity to thank every single one of you for supporting me and the work that I do. Every week, I really try to just pull lessons from my own life and share this journey with you. So I just want to say thank you for giving me the platform to be able to share my story. So let me know in the comments if you could relate in any way. I always love hearing your stories as well. Thank you guys so much, and until next Tuesday, take care, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye guys.